So excited to be here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course on the grid with International GT. That is always some of the best racing of the year. So happy to have spectators here. I'm here with the International GT president and my friend Ken Fangler, and you have a legend on pole. Ken, how do you make such a great show at Mid-Ohio?
Well, I'd like to say we just open the door and they show up, build it, and they will come. But we're very happy to be here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for a fantastic weekend of racing, this Speed Tour event. And we do have a legend at Andy Pilgrim. But as you'll see this race, he's going to have to earn it and stay out front. As he always says, they keep him honest. He's got the field covered and being on pole, but he's got a lot of guys behind him that would like to be in his position.
Nice. I love it. Tony, you got to get a shot of his helmet. Andy, you give a thumbs up to the camera. He's got South Park on there, Family Guy. Good stuff. And then, Ken, if you'll stay with me, let's talk about some of the locals. So one of our locals from Medina, Ohio in this Brumos Porsche, grandma's salad, grandma's potato salad, coleslaw. But Mark Sandridge put on such a great party, like he does every year. Ribs and chicken last night, so much camaraderie. Are these samples for you? What's going on here, Ken?
Well, I'll share my samples. You see, I brought my spoon, and, you know, it's breakfast time somewhere, and there's something for every meal, but very happy to have Sandridge Foods, Grandma's Potato Salad, and all their other products, and Mark's a great supporter of International GT for so many years. We wish him the best of luck and thank him for all his support.
I loved it. Last night in the party, I saw Juan Gonzalez eating Grandma's potato salad, and Mark was eating Mission chips and Mission salsa. So you've got a lot of food providers here. So good stuff. And you've got, I know, the Ohio players, you call them. How many local Ohioans do you have? Did you cover that?
Well, I counted up that there's 8 out of our 32, which in my public school math is 25% of the grid. So our Ohio's well represented, and very happy to have all the locals from Ohio because they bring fans and friends and family and out here, so it just makes for a fantastic event.
Nice. Speaking of an Ohioan, Buckeye, Aaron Quinn right there with Mark Mathis up here. Good stuff. Then we've got Todd Sloan. I believe this is Mark Sandridge's old car. Todd Sloan also from Ohio. And then from south of the border coming up, Mission Foods, we got Juan Gonzalez right here, one of the best. And then come one more, Tony. Geronimo Guzman is going to have our in-car for this race. So keep out for Geronimo Guzman. It's getting loud at the grid. Ken, let's have a good race. International GT and Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Jonathan, the legend Mark Miller, I send it to you.
Yep, he's right here alongside me. I am with Mark Miller, of course, our former champion in Trans Am. But a pretty good peddler when it comes to these cars too, and currently racing in IMSA, I believe, to a podium last time out in Detroit. How are you, Mark? Good to see you.
I'm great. Thanks for having me on here. I love this track. I actually love these GT cars, and it's nice to be here on a weekend that I can experience all my friends from Trans Am and at the same time taking some GT action.
I've always wanted to ask somebody who knows these cars well, what is it about the Porsche 911 that has made it such the greatest racing car ever in many ways?
It's iconic. I mean, it's an engineering design that shouldn't work that does. It's
right.
a rear engine over the rear axle. But what people don't realize is when you drive this, you drive it a bit different than any other GT cars. But it makes so much rear traction when you come off the corner that you can drive it in really deep, get a lot of weight transfer to the front. It points, and then you can just go. And you've got big rear tires compared to the front, where a lot of mid-engine and front-engine cars are more symmetrical in design. This is the opposite of that, so all that weight just sits on the rear of the tire. It gets really good exit. It makes it really good in the wet, too.
That Brumos Porsche, fantastic famous colors from Daytona and many other great races over the years. Brumos Porsche have had a huge history here in the United States. But you're absolutely right, and every Porsche driver I talk to says it's nimble. And I get it when they say that, because it looks nimble, it looks compact, it looks as though it's packed with power, and it looks as though it drives well. And so therefore, even when you're at the twisty parts of the S's, in the corners there, but also when you're heading down towards the keyhole, it's still got enough grunt to take on any more powerful cars.
Yeah, it's a torquey engine. I mean, you've got, 4 liters out there that are, it's weird when you say it's only a 4-liter engine, but for instance, in IMSA and a lot of the GT3 categories, they're up against bigger V8s, bigger engines, and when you look at that, they're still doing all of this stuff with this 4-liter engine over the rear axle, 6-cylinder up against V8s, turbocharged, twin turbocharged V6s, twin turbocharged V8s, and being very competitive at the same time. But it is a little bit different discipline, the way the cars work. And if you notice the shape of the car and the size of the car, it's pretty sleek as well. So it makes good aero.
Well, talking of great cars, here's another one that has had a huge history in its day, which is Ferrari, of course. And so if there was a car that would probably rival these Porsches we've been talking about, and the majority are Porsches, this Ferrari is one of them, the number 4.
Yeah, that's a 458 GT3 car. It's extremely quick, great aero, good downforce, mid-engine package, also V8. Just really, really good balanced car, and you see a lot of the cars nowadays emulate, even our Acura NSX that you're racing GT3. It's a mid-engine package, twin turbo V6. So you see a lot of cars like looking at the Ferrari that's been doing this for years, having that mid-engine balance, and it's a predictable car. It's reliable. It's a really solid package to have.
Well, it's certainly the pick of the field at the moment. That 458 GT3 of Andy Pilgrim in the number 4 is the pole position man in the all-red 4.5 litre Ferrari 458.
It doesn't hurt that Andy's out there driving it too.
Yeah. It's one thing to have all the gear. You've got to be able to put it down to the asphalt. But he's chased hard by a bunch of Porsche GT3 Rs and Cup cars, and so it's going to be a real battle. What's the key to a race like this?
I mean, this is a short race. It's a sprint race. So, having coached in this situation and then also been in this situation, the biggest key is to make sure that you get tire temperatures up, because you only get one out lap. It's not like two warm-up laps. You get out the pits, you have the one lap to get the tires up to temp, brakes up to temp, and then it's a green flag. So making sure you get those tires hot, get them prepared, get the brakes hot, so it's all there available to you when you go into turn 1 for the first time.
Before we go racing, Ben, you've just come back from the grid. What did you learn? Who's out there doing something special? What have you got any news for us?
I don't have any great news other than Mid-Ohio is always my favorite international GT race. It's always a great field. And our buddy Mark Miller was on the podium with us at Daytona with his partner from Holland as they start here, Jonathan.
Yep, away we go, and diving down towards the first corner here at Mid-Ohio. The Ferrari under pressure already from the Brumos 58, but everybody cleanly through that first corner, as you'd expect from these professional drivers, going on board now in 4th gear down towards the keyhole. And just everybody effectively, what do you do on the first lap? You get yourself into a position where you know where you are, and then what? Do you do a systems check?
Oh no, you're going.
You're going.
Yeah. There's if you're doing systems check, you're getting passed. So
okay,
gotcha. Just be
Geronimo Guzman right there in the black car. We're in car with him. He just picked up 2 places right there, so he just Geronimo'd into turn 1.
Absolutely.
What a name to go with that, too.
Yeah, exactly. A good racing name. He's just been overtaken by
Todd
the 25.
Todd Sloan takes him over. Todd Sloan considers this his home track, I think from the Columbus, Ohio area. And Mark Miller, these GT cars, they have a special place in your heart, as does Mid-Ohio. What are you seeing out there?
Well, they do, and this is a nice mix of both GT3 cars and GT3 Cup cars, which have a little bit different horsepower and aero package difference. The race that we raced in Daytona was always a very cool race. There was a lot of cars there, and we were in a GT3 Cup with a Porsche GT3 Cup car that, both of us were based out of Holland, Michigan, which was kind of fun. We went down to Daytona and had a great race. And International GT puts on just a great event that allows you to take a mix of older GT3 cars as well as some more modern GT3 Cup cars, race them together on track, and it makes for a great show.
It really does. I told Ken Fangler at our party last night that, because I was with him when it was 4 to 6 cars coming out every weekend, and how he's built this and seeing how he's done it, working with him. He needs to write a book on how he's done it, because it's such a great mix of very professional, very competitive drivers, but the camaraderie in the paddock is like nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah, and you see this battle right now. You've got basically a GT3 spec 911 up against a GT3 Cup car, which, similar horsepower as far as pace, but that GT3 is going to have more downforce, better braking, definitely a lot more wing, to be able to make moves like this down the inside, and a little bit better top end. Well, once it's got a little bit more power, but acceleration rate's really similar.
That's Dave Tuati in his new liveried Porsche, 70 years, 1948. That's a beautiful car. David Tuati with TLM. I think they brought 4 cars here with us from Miami area.
Yep, the team based out of Florida. David's been around racing and Porsches for a very long time. He's got a big group of customers down there in the Miami area. And it's nice to see them like travel around the country, not just stick down to the Homestead, Sebring areas. You know, it's nice to see them move around.
So now as a coach, because you're in the paddock with us all the time, what are you watching when you're watching this in-car? Are you looking at his hands?
I love having live feed for, it's like this is my ability to right seat without actually having to being in the car, which is the safest way to do this. So I use this V-Box system quite often with a live feed, live video. It's less than a second delay. I look at hand position, I look at driver comfort, but I'm also looking at throttle application, brake pressure, and making sure that they're looking what they're supposed to be looking and hitting the marks that they need to be hit and doing all the things that we talked about before they ever got in the car. And that's an important thing. This is set standards before you get in, and then you double check the standards. I don't want to be coaching the guy when to get on throttle, when to get on the brake while he's driving.
Mark Mathis on the inside of Geronimo Guzman right here into turn 4.
Yeah, and Andy Pilgrim is building on that lead at the moment. This is a short race, guys. 14 minutes only left. Pilgrim already 2.7 seconds up the road, the pole man, ahead of Mark Sandridge in second place.
Yeah, he's making quick work of it. You know, again, it's that racing experience that you have for years in pros. Some of the biggest difference between pro drivers and semi-pro drivers is just out laps and in laps. And you'll see how important it is in every form of racing. Formula One it's a big, huge thing, but especially in GT racing across the globe, those out laps are so important. Those first laps are so important, and having the confidence to just go right away, even though everything's not up to optimal temperatures.
And I got to give it up for the number 40 there, that bright neon green Porsche there, right behind Geronimo. That's Lucas Pank. Tom Pank's son has really been showing us a lot of talent. Just now, he's out of college for the summer, and he's out here racing with us. He actually beat, look at that, side-by-side, exit of 1, and that's Lucas Pank there in the Bay Saver Ultra
there
Performance
are 3
Porsche.
Panks, right?
There are, yeah, Lucas, the dad Tom, and Nicholas, the other brother, are out there. And, you know, it's different. Dad's paying for the cars, so Lucas seems to be a little bit more aggressive. You know, he doesn't have as much to lose here, and he's having a great battle with Geronimo Guzman. And now our man, Ken Fangler's in here. I'm going to give up my mic for Ken Fangler to give us his expertise.
Well, I spoke to the Panks yesterday, and I did have a long chat with Lucas. He took a year off from racing, and he's back, and I think he's just got the bit between his teeth. And then I spoke to Lucas, who, of course, is the 18-year-old, and actually has got the least, obviously, experience of all 3, but everybody in the family really proud of him.
Sometimes that's good, because you're willing to try things that, you know, that you know, it's not ingrained in you. You're willing to be a little more adventurous. And, you know, the thing about Lucas right now, he's doing all this in 3.8-liter cars. It's a smaller displacement engine than some of the ones that are out there. You know, the GT3 Cup had 3.8 liters before they went to 4 liters. And this type of circuit, the car may be a little lighter. It doesn't need as much top end. The torque is still there and is showing it right now. He's coming off the corners really well. He's placing the car well, and is making some pretty nice moves.
Well, listen, as they completed another lap with just over 11 minutes to go, I want to introduce our commentary team. We've got Mark Miller, former Trans Am champion and currently in IMSA, and has raced in IGTs and certainly knows these cars better than ever. And I'm be interested to find out. We've also got Ken Fangler here, who of course you saw at the top of the show, who literally is the organizer and the guy who puts it all together. But of these guys, who have you raced hard against?
Andy. I've raced against Andy Pilgrim. And I think at one point, all of these guys that went to Daytona last year for December's race, you know, I was able to get in there at the end of the race and run some practice laps. And that type of track is really wide open. There's a lot of breathing room and stuff. It's not as tight and twisty as this Mid-Ohio sports car course.
And Ken, you got to be pleased. Again, another bumper field. I've been with you for the last few years as you've built this. And, you know, you've always had a robust field, but this is not record-breaking, but I think COVID's played a part. Everybody wants out now. Everyone wants to get in a car.
Yeah, it's, you know, quite honestly, I have to say, if there was any good thing that came out of COVID, last year was a good year for us. Our customer base doubled last year because we were one of the few still racing. Hence, it doubled, and we've seen that 50% of the grid that's here this weekend wasn't here last year, and yet I still have the same number of cars. I mean, we had 33 here last year. I have 32 here this year.
That's
so
right.
It's fantastic, and we know the rest of the year is going to be strong. So we're very thankful because it's about the customers, the drivers, the teams that really put the effort forth to come, and they have lots of choices of where to race. And we're just glad it's here at International GT.
Well, Andy Pilgrim's making this a very boring race for maybe those who want a close race, but it's not boring from his point of view. He is flying. He just did a 1:26.4, his best time at 1:25.6, and I'm going to ask my experts here, that's not bad, is it?
No, it's pretty good around here. And in fact, you know, he's now at a point where he's gotten a lot out of the tires, and now this is when everyone now, with only 9 minutes to go, it's past almost halfway. Now we're at a point where everyone's starting to go faster and faster and faster, but Andy's built that gap already because he was going hard right from the get-go. And it's tough to overcome an 8-second lead, even though if you're a little bit faster. So, you know, Mark Sandrich and Todd Sloan, they've got their work cut out for them if they want to make any gains right now.
And Ken, for those watching maybe thinking, you know what, I'd not really thought of IGT before, what's the procedure to get in touch or to qualify, if you will, in terms of who can race in this?
Well, certainly, you know, all of our guys have prior experience. You come in through, and the normal channels. You go possibly a driving school, but certainly lots of driver ed events. You know, single mark clubs have lots of on-track activity, and you progress from there. You know, you may start with a street car and then move on to a race car. Maybe a Cayman's a good place to start.
Yeah.
You know, great, easy car to drive, but good power, great balance. And then move on and, you know, maybe do some club racing. You know, all these guys have come from somewhere else. You know, we're 7 years into the program, so there's been lots of other opportunities for these guys to race. And, you know, there are certain guys that they call this home. You know, they still race other places, but we're glad that they enjoy the experience here at International GT, which is about good competition, good racing. We're not rules heavy, as you well know, but, you know, on track, look at it. It's just the guys are having a good time. There's competitive racing throughout all the classes, and at the end of the day, we give a bunch of stuff away, and we have some smiles and laughs and get ready for the next race. And, hey, if it's not fun, why would we be doing this?
I know that that my co-driver at Daytona last year requested more mission chips.
Well, as Juan would say, I think an old advertising thing, keep on crunching, we'll make more, you know, and yeah, we have plenty of that. And I will say that is one of the bonus of the series, especially since Juan, who supports so much in motorsports, he's not going to be here this afternoon because he's going to his flat track sponsored event here in Ohio. At the fairgrounds. I heard it advertised on the radio.
Would that be fair to say that is a very fast turtle?
With snake, turtle,
Yes,
William Wax.
Gator,
Some
yes.
sort of reptile.
Yes, right, yeah, exactly. Yes.
The one thing I do like about this series is like the range of ages of cars and the specs of cars, yet they're all on track, and especially tracks like this, there's a lot of opportunity for an older car to be as competitive as a newer car. So the rules package keeps everything really kind of close and a little loose so that everyone can like self-police themselves in a way. But to be able to take a car that may be six years old, like I can't go run that car in IMSA, it's out of homologation, but there's a lot of places to race it, and IGT is the perfect place to bring a car like that, get a lot of good laps in, and have competitive racing still.
Yeah, and further on from that, the championship is set up that, you know, the likes of our championship 3.6 liters have come out. It hasn't been the 4s, the 4Rs, because they accumulate points in class, all right? And so, you know, in the Cayman field, Will Wax has won 2 years in a row in a 3.4 liter, not a 3.8 liter Cayman.
That's nice.
You know, and so there's an opportunity. You got to do about 50% of the races. So we've got 10 races this year. You do 5 races, and you can still be in the hunt to win the championship, which is a nice little bonus. I mean, you know, the watch and the accolades that go with it.
Listen,
you know.
as a driver, with a very big watch collection myself, I have stopped collecting watches because I only want ones as gifts or as trophies.
Yes. Right.
And I was so bummed to not win a watch last year at the Daytona race because I thought, oh, you win this race, you're going to get a watch. Because it's ingrained in me. I was like, well, we're going to have to come back and try to win this IGT championship so we can win watches.
Right. Yeah, and BRM is our chronograph sponsor. We're very happy they've been with us since the beginning. Fantastic product and a very unique product. Small boutique company out of France, and the watches are spectacular. And no doubt, the drivers that win those are coveted because they know the experience that they had and what they did to win that watch. So it's a great accolade.
Big motorsport supporters too, and very motorsport-based watch selection as well.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about motor racing and watches, but it is synonymous. And if you're into motor racing, somehow you're into watches. I too have a watch collection, and I love any kind of different watch. And I couldn't agree more. We've been watching Todd Sloan in the 25. He's currently in third position, and in fourth position. And also, Geronimo Guzman is the man we've been on board with. But at the moment, Andy Pilgrim way ahead of the rest of the field and leading this one with just over 4 minutes to go. Beautiful day here in mid-Ohio. Slightly overcast, but actually, given the rain yesterday, much more preferred. This looks as though it is the last lap board coming out. And we are going to get a finish here in IGT. They'll be in action again, am I right, Ken, tomorrow night?
No, actually, we're the last race of today.
Oh, of today, sorry.
Yes,
tonight,
exactly, yeah. We're the last race of today. I think it's around 4:30 or so.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and then we'll be on with the long race, our enduro tomorrow morning, first thing and out of the box at 8 o'clock. So lots of good racing to come. And
hour and a half, 90 minutes?
70 minutes.
Oh, the
70
enduro,
minutes.
yeah, of course.
70 minutes.
That's my favorite part because that's usually when I get to drive something.
There you
And
go.
Mark, I'm going to say, you're going to be driving something or coaching somebody.
Now I'm actually going to head home after the Trans Am races. I'm coaching Rhett Barkow, who's driving my old Trans Am car from 2019.
Great.
Who won the championship with. Is doing a great job with it. And we're making some grounds here. We got a race this afternoon, like early afternoon. So I'll be heading home to spend some quality time with the family before heading to Watkins Glen on Wednesday.
Well, you've ruined my question because I was going to try and coax you to come and commentate, but you're working.
I'm working.
Never mind.
We saw our in-car camera with Geronimo Guzman, and we'll have some fun with his personal sponsors. They brought some tequila, Corrigo.
Oh, my
All
word.
right, we're awarded away, and Provident Jewelers, gift bags from Provident Jewelers.
Excellent.
So this podium, we're going to celebrate things, and we're going to give some things away from both Provident Jewelers, Corrigo tequila, which we sampled last night at the Mark Sandridge's party with Grandma's potato salads. Potato salad and tequila. I can't think, and Mission Foods chips. I can't think of it any better. By the way, I
my
want
wife
you to
is
notice.
not here.
Yeah, I brought you guys samples.
Oh, wow. Now I was about to be rude to you, but no. Ken Fengel, the man of the moment, as the checkered flag waves for Andy Pilgrim, who won this by a country mile. Chips, tequila, and coleslaw. Woohoo! And potato salad.
And pasta salad.
Wow,
Zesty
you
garden
can't go
pasta.
wrong.
That sounds delicious.
Love it.
My ride home today will make it be easy.
That'd be easier, wouldn't it?
Spoons for everyone.
Oh, you are.
I got you covered. The big thing, Mark, I was talking to Mark last night. Somebody's asking about the potato salad business. Last week, they produced, guess how much in potato salad? Take a guess.
100,000 pounds.
2 million pounds of potato salad last week.
I mean, potato salad is heavy, but that's a lot of potato salad.
That could cost you 3 seconds a lap.
Yeah, easily. That should be the weight penalty for anybody that does too well in the series.
Yeah,
they have to lug a
you have to
55-gallon drum of potato
either
salad.
eat it or put it in the car.
Yeah.
One of the two. Yes. And but thank you to Mark and Sandwich Foods and Grandma's Potato Salads for their support at this event. Mark's been a longtime competitor at International GT, so good to see him out there finishing second overall. It looks like, and
in a very beautiful GT3R too. That probably has quite a bit of racing history.
Well, the livery does. A tribute to Joe Vardy when he was with Brumos, and they asked Dano Davis if they could use it and did it, and they said, sure, blessing. So
That's
that
awesome.
car's out there as a tribute to Joe Vardy, who's racing at Watkins Glen. He's there with our other competitor, Ted Giovannis, there this weekend. So good luck to him.
So let's take a look at the results then. Andy Pilgrim and Mark Sandridge first and second, one in a Ferrari, the other in the 991 Porsche. Todd Sloan taking third place, Matheson Quang taking fourth, Geronimo Guzman, who we're on board with for quite some time, in fifth place. Lucas Pank, the middleman, if you will, in the Pank conglomerate, is sixth. Tauti seventh, Gonzalez eighth, Berkowitz and Weisen in ninth position, and Brian Hicks rounding out the top 10. Further down, Blizzard, Nelson, Rupel, Millerman in 14th position, Jeffrey Freeman in 15th, Hamann, Cohen and Hart in 17th, Mike Ward, Martin Zitzer, and Brad Waite in 20th position.